Hi guys, in this tutorial I'm just going to quickly show how I'm doing my light rigging. So I've got my coal class destroyer here, it's a personal project, and you'll notice that we've got a bunch of nulls, but in the center here I've got the engine controller. When lightwave catches up here, so this little triangle null, and depending on what this null does, you'll notice, apart from the top, which I've not done any on yet, my lights and everything trigger. So in this case, for the first 25 frames we're accelerating forwards, then we decelerate, or return to 0. We start gliding to the side, and we've got all the thrusters and everything moving based on the rotation angles and everything like that. And if I do a quick VPR preview here of one of these while it's firing, we'll use the back end simply because it shows up better. So if we scroll to, say, this set, so if I do a preview here, you'll notice also that my textures all light up in order. So all these are actually lighting up based on which engine's firing and the like. So how do I do this? Well, one, I have to actually give a shout out to Andrew or Combi as he's better known, for finally making me have to learn nodes. But what we do is we've got two steps. First off, each of these is, so these are my thrusters, these little side ones, and these are my main engine groupings, which are the big ones at the back. And the shader network I use for each is similar. So if we bring up the nodes here and have a look, we've got an item info, and this is linked to our main engine controls null. Flies into this item vector, so I take the position and the rotation and put it into here, and inside here we convert all this stuff out into a format that we can actually read it for the use in the lights and the textures. So comes in, goes into these vector scalars. For our rotation we use pi and we divide it by, we do a multiply by 2.0, and we feed it back out into your pitch and bang. Then we take it out. For the lighting we feed it into a gradient. This just lets us go from black to bright. For our luminosity here we feed it into a multiplier because I want it to be a little bit brighter than 100%. We feed it into the luminosity value, and this basically just gives us everything reacting off that null. So that's how we get the texture to work. The thing is, this shader network is also how the volumetrics work, and I'll show you that now as I make one for the top. So we're going to tell the nulls to go away. I'm going to move my surface editor over to my other monitor for a second. As we can see here, I've got a lot of lights, and rather than just having to remake each of these lights, I'm cloning them simply because they are basically set up how I want them to be. So we want this light here, which is my rear lower front. That's the wrong one, but we'll just see if we can't manage to click on the null here. And we missed it. Okay, front lower right. So I've got all my lights parented to a null. It lets me do some nifty stuff that you're not meant to be able to do normally with lights. I'm going to do a clone of the hierarchy, so Shift Control and C. I'm going to move this one up the top here, and I'm going to rotate the light back to normal so I can position it. So we do this, and then we want to rotate it 90. And we're going to slide it over and into position. So we have this in its correct position. We need to bring it down a little bit, but we get the idea. I'll tweak these more for to my personal taste later. But the tutorial near enough is close enough. At the moment, however, it's tied to the lower. So what we need to do here is, in our lights, I've got two lights here. I've got a glow light and a volumetric light. The glow light gives us the general feel, colour and the like, and the volumetric gives us the actual thruster itself. So if we go to the properties on this light, you'll notice that we've got an envelope tied to the light intensity. If we go into this envelope, under modifiers I've got a texture channel scale. If I go into this texture, I've got a single layer, which is a texture node editor, which allows me to bring up a node. So what I can do with that is I can take the texture for these two thrusters, the node setup that I've got, which I know works, so we might want to do a repair on this poor old light first. So we'll fix the light up. There we go. So this thruster is running on thruster front upper right. So it's this texture here, thruster upper right. And this is its node set. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this set of nodes, copy them, because if we ignore this light for a second, go back to our VPR here, give it a second to render, and get it when hopefully we've just got this. You'll just have to trust me that they do light up. I could be sitting here going through the timeline for a little bit otherwise. and I don't want this tutorial getting too long. But they light up like this set over here. What we're going to do is make it so that this glow only actually happens when they're lit up like this. And we do that by taking this shader network, which we already know works, and we come over to our texture channel here. We tell it we want to edit the nodes, and as you can see, because we copied, we've already got a bunch of nodes there. And normally you'd see something like this. Paste in the network that worked for lighting up your texture, and just drag the output for your luminosity into your texture output value here. So these two we don't even need. We just need this section. What that's going to do is whenever this texture here should be lit up, it'll send a value of 1 to the light. And of course we want our envelope at 0. So now we're going to switch to the volumetric light. So now we want lights back here. So this is our volumetric. We've got a light intensity again. Again, it's just another texture channel, another node editor. We're going to come in here, clear out the old one, paste the new one, link it, close, close, and close, just so that we don't get confused on where we're up to. Come into here and we've got an envelope on our height, texture, edit, and again we're going to paste our node set that worked for that and tie it. You'll notice that the instant we've done this, we've got nothing glowing here and we've got no light. However, if we find part in here where it lights up, the two match. That's just a quick way of doing your rigging so that you don't have to do a whole lot of work. I don't have to sit here and individually keyframe all these lights. They'll work Newtonianly based off what my null's doing. Anyway, hopefully this helps somebody out. It's mainly so that I actually have a reference for it if I ever forget. Thanks.